How much are you spending on chicken feed every single month? Don't guess. Think about it. $50? 100? 200? Now multiply that by 12. Now multiply that by 5 years. That's thousands of dollars gone, spent on bags that disappear in days. And here's the part nobody talks about. You don't actually have to keep doing that. What if your backyard could produce most of your flock's feed? What if instead of driving to the store every month, you walked outside, harvested fresh greens, seeds, tubers, and fed your chickens for free? What if you could grow feed once and harvest it for years? This isn't a fantasy. This isn't experimental. This is already happening. Across small farms, homesteads, and even suburban backyards, chicken keepers are quietly cutting their feed bills dramatically by growing strategic plants. Today, I'm going to show you 7 plants that, together, can replace commercial feed almost entirely. These plants provide protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, and vitamins, everything your flock needs to thrive. And by the end of this video, you won't just see what to plant. You'll understand how to build a complete, resilient, self-sustaining feeding system. Before we begin, I want to know something. How much are you currently spending on feed each month? Drop it in the comments. Be honest. Let's talk numbers, because once you see the cost, the motivation to change becomes real. Now, let's talk about the problem first. Commercial feed is convenient. It's balanced, it's marketed as complete, but it creates dependence. When feed prices rise, you pay. When supply chains get disrupted, you panic. When ingredients change, you don't even know. You're reactive, not proactive. And here's something most people don't realize. Chickens were thriving long before feed mills existed. They are natural foragers. They evolved to eat greens, seeds, insects, roots, greens. Diversity, not pellets from a bag. Commercial feed works, but it's not the only way, and it's certainly not the most resilient way. The key is not replacing feed with one magic plant. The key is building diversity. And that brings us to plant number 1. If there were a single plant that deserves the title chicken superfood, this would be it. Moringa is extraordinary. Its leaves contain up to 27% protein. Let that sink in. 27%. That's higher than most legumes. And it's loaded with calcium, iron, potassium, magnesium, and essential vitamins. When laying hens consume moringa regularly, something interesting happens. Eggshells become stronger, yolks deepen in color, feathers look healthier, overall vitality improves. Why? Because moringa isn't just protein, it's nutrient density, it's bioavailable nutrition in its natural form. Now, let's talk practicality. Moringa grows aggressively in warm climates. In tropical and subtropical regions, it can grow several feet in a single season. Once established, it becomes drought tolerant. It thrives in heat. It handles poor soil better than many crops, and the harvest system is simple. You cut the branches, strip the leaves, feed them fresh, or dry them for later. New growth appears quickly. You're not replanting every year. You're managing a living feed source. In colder climates, moringa can still be grown as an annual or planted in large containers and brought indoors during winter. Even if you only grow it for part of the year, the dried leaves can be stored for months. Think of it this way. A single mature moringa tree can produce pounds of leaves repeatedly. That's recurring protein without recurring cost. Plant it once, harvest for years. That's the foundation of sustainability. Now let's talk about calories. Protein is critical, but chickens also need energy, especially in winter. Sweet potatoes are one of the most efficient calorie-producing crops you can grow. From a small area, you can harvest pounds and pounds of tubers. But here's what makes them powerful. You're not just feeding the tubers, you're feeding the leaves too. Sweet potato vines produce abundant greens that chickens love. Those leaves contain nutrients and fiber that support gut health, and gut health is everything. A strong digestive system means better nutrient absorption, better immune function, better egg production. Sweet potatoes are practical. In frost-free climates, they can be perennial. In cooler climates, they're incredibly productive annuals. Plant slips in spring. Give them sun and space. By late summer or early autumn, you're harvesting heavy tubers. They store beautifully. Cured properly, sweet potatoes can last months. That means when winter hits and fresh forage disappears, you still have feed, stored, reliable, ready. One plant spreads across the soil, suppressing weeds. It shades the ground, improves soil structure, and produces food. It's efficient on multiple levels. That's what you want in a sustainable system. This next plant shocks people. It doesn't look impressive. It's tiny, floating, unassuming. But duckweed contains 30 to 40% protein, comparable to soybean meal. And here's the part that changes everything. It doubles in mass every 2 to 3 days in ideal conditions. Imagine harvesting something and 3 days later, it's back. You don't plant rows, you don't weed, you don't till. You fill a pond, trough, or even a child's plastic pool with water. Add starter duckweed, provide light nutrients, and it multiplies. Chickens absolutely love it, especially when fresh. During molting season, when protein demand spikes, duckweed becomes extremely valuable. For meat birds, it accelerates healthy growth. For laying hens, it supports egg production. And if you dry excess harvest, you can store it for colder months. A small water surface can produce surprising quantities. It's one of the most space-efficient protein sources you can grow, and it requires minimal labor. This plant is legendary among gardeners. Comfrey is tough, persistent, almost impossible to kill once established, and that's a good thing. Its roots dive deep into the soil, sometimes 10 feet or more. It pulls up minerals from deep layers: calcium, potassium, phosphorus, trace elements. Those minerals concentrate in the leaves. When chickens eat comfrey, they're accessing nutrients that shallow-rooted plants never reach. This is especially important for laying hens. Eggshells require calcium, lots of it. Commercial systems often rely on oyster shell supplements. Comfrey provides bioavailable calcium naturally. Comfrey contains about 20 to 25% protein in dry matter. Not as high as duckweed or moringa, but when combined with its mineral profile, it becomes extremely valuable. And it's perennial. Plant it once, harvest for decades. 20 years, 30 years. You cut it to the ground, it regrows multiple times per season. Chop the leaves, feed fresh, or dry for later. There's one caution. Plant it intentionally, because once it's in the ground, it's staying. But that permanence is exactly what makes it powerful. It's not seasonal, it's structural. It becomes part of your land's long-term productivity. Let's talk about insurance, because that's what pumpkins and squash are. One vine can produce multiple heavy fruits. Each fruit can weigh several pounds, and chickens devour them. The flesh provides vitamins A and C. The fiber supports digestion. The seeds contain compounds believed to help reduce internal parasites naturally. Now, are pumpkin seeds a guaranteed dewormer? No, but they contribute to overall gut health, and they're part of a diverse system. The beauty of winter squash varieties is storage. Butternut, acorn, and many others. When cured properly and stored in a cool, dry place, they can last for months. That means when grass stops growing, when insects disappear, when frost kills tender greens, you still have feed. You slice open a squash, place it in the run, and your flock tears into it. It's simple, low cost, high return, and growing them improves soil. Their large leaves shade weeds. Their vines cover bare ground. When they decompose, they add organic matter. Feed for chickens, feed for soil. It's circular. That's the mindset shift. Protein is important. Carbohydrates are important. But fat matters too, especially in cold climates. Sunflower seeds contain roughly 20% protein and 40% fat. That's high energy fuel. In winter, chickens burn more calories to stay warm. Sunflower seeds support that need. They also improve feather quality. Healthy oils contribute to glossy plumage, and they're incredibly easy to grow. Direct sow seeds in spring. Give them sun. Minimal maintenance. By late summer or autumn, seed heads mature. You can harvest and store the seeds, or hang entire heads in the coop and let chickens peck directly. Even better, allow some to reseed. Drop mature heads in the run. Chickens eat what they want, some seeds fall to the soil, next spring volunteers sprout. No replanting required. That's recurring feed without recurring effort. Amaranth is resilient. It thrives in heat, tolerates poor soil, produces both edible leaves and protein-rich seeds. Its seeds contain around 14% protein, and importantly, amaranth is considered a complete protein, meaning it contains all essential amino acids. One plant produces thousands of tiny seeds, thousands, and chickens peck them eagerly. The young leaves are tender greens. The mature plants produce striking seed heads. Like sunflowers, amaranth reseeds itself aggressively. Once planted, it often becomes part of your landscape permanently, which means year after year it shows up and feeds your flock without extra cost. Now, let's step back. Individually, each plant is powerful, but together they create balance. Moringa, duckweed, amaranth, protein sources. Sweet potatoes and squash, carbohydrates and fiber. Sunflowers, fats and calories. Comfrey, minerals. Vitamins from nearly all of them. This diversity mimics natural foraging. No single plant carries the burden. The system carries the burden. And that's why it works. Now, I want to be practical. Don't eliminate commercial feed tomorrow. Start by supplementing. Add fresh greens daily. Replace part of their ration gradually. Observe your flock. Are they active, bright-eyed, producing well? Eggshells strong? If yes, you're on track. Over time, your purchased feed becomes supplemental, not primary. That's the goal. Reduced dependency, increased resilience. This isn't just about chickens, it's about control. When prices spike, you're calm. When stores run low, you're secure. When others scramble, you harvest. You're not dependent on external systems for something you can produce yourself. That shift changes everything. And here's something even deeper. When you grow feed, you pay attention. You observe soil, water, seasonal cycles. You become connected to your land. And that connection produces confidence. You're not just feeding chickens, you're building capacity. Don't feel overwhelmed. Choose one plant, just one. Maybe comfrey because it's easy. Maybe sweet potatoes because they're familiar. Plant it. Learn it, observe results, then expand. Sustainable systems are built step by step, not all at once. One season at a time, one plant at a time. Imagine 1 year from now. Your feed bill is cut in half or more. Your yard produces greens, seeds, tubers. Your flock looks vibrant, your egg baskets are full, and you're not worried about the next price increase. That's possible. Not complicated, just intentional. If you're serious about building a more sustainable flock, subscribe and stay connected. We're building something bigger than a backyard garden. We're building resilience. Now go outside, plant something. Your chickens will thank you, your wallet will thank you, and you'll have taken the first real step toward feed freedom.